When my son got to be a little bit older, I think he was like 4, and my mom had mentioned that my grandfather was in World War II, and his eyes just like bugged out and everything. And I remember him being like all excited, you know, and he was like, I'm gonna be a SEAL. And then after that, it was like everything that he could soak up about military history. And we ended up going and joining the Sons of Union Veterans of the Civil War. The day that it really like struck me, like I was like, whoa, you know, so I have to look into this a little bit more, you know, like what is he reading that's making him think like this? So then it led into Civil War reenacting, which is such a fun thing, and you learn so much history.
I think that there's a real problem in our educational institutions because our children are not being taught to respect and appreciate American history and what this country has gone through.
You know, they're seeing the big things like Disney World or whatever, but they're missing so much of the heritage and history of this country that that contributes to the moral values in that we all share as Americans.
I want my children to be independent thinkers and bring an argument to the table that's meaningful, because that's what we're not teaching our children anymore. We're just teaching them to be drones and nod their heads and go along and watch, you know, little like 10-second sound bites. So for them to understand their history of how many men and women have stood for what they believe in, yeah, that's, if I can do one thing as a parent, that will be the legacy I hope I leave my children.
I also believe it's so important as patriots. My children know history and they know who they are. They know their Constitution, not from school, because school will never teach it, but from me and my husband. But the Second Amendment, again, as I've taught my children and reiterated lately, to really grasp, it's not just to have a gun.
Exactly.
It need be in times of tyranny.
Yeah.
And so the issue is, when you say that without the Second Amendment, none of the rest of them really matter, that's what the NRA represents, is that is the one part of the Second Amendment that protects all the rest, is that for our founders, for a reason, put that piece in there. And I think it's a powerful piece that can't be understated.
Yeah.
They're all depending on us, and so we're at a time where we have to, because history constantly repeats itself.
Yes,
so we're at a
that's
time where we must teach our children history, the history of our country. And we must talk about how we defend America.
Yes.
And again, we've talked at this table, it's not just taking up arms, it's defense through education, it's defense through family values, it's defense through being
teaching
a community.
It at home.
Exactly.
An individual.
Yeah.
Teaching it at home, because not depending on
the school to teach your kids.
School and that directive, and bringing it, you know, grassroots at home.
Yes.
If people just research history, they would understand that we're a strong America because of the Second Amendment. And we've held our own all these years because of the Second Amendment. People hate us because of who we are as America, how fast we came up, how strong we are, how good we are. And the only thing holding the fabric of our country together are the people who are holding on to the Second Amendment and holding on to the First Amendment.
And we should be proud to be Americans. I mean, we're the only country in the world that put a man on the moon, you know? I mean, it's a history that needs to be shared with our young people. We need to re-instill in our children the pride that we should feel as being Americans.